Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday to you. It is Wednesday, March 6th, 2024. And because it's 9 a.m. Eastern Time, because it's Wednesday, you know that it's time for Project Joy Live. So here we go. Wednesday morning, everybody. I hope you're ready for another episode of Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Super excited to be with you for another episode today. And I am on the upswing very slowly here. I want to take just a moment and thank everybody who's been sending their good vibes. It's sometimes a challenge in a house full of all the minions like I have over here. When one of us gets sick, we're passing it back and forth for what feels like forever. And it has taken a long time. I feel like, am I going to get better? Am I going to get better ever? And I'm on the upswing. Everybody in the house, we still have a little bit of a ways to go, but we're definitely better than we were. So I want to thank everybody so much for your good vibes. And like I said, I feel very blessed to be able to work at home and work for myself because that enabled me to still work while I wasn't feeling 100%, and still come online and be with you guys. You didn't have to be right here with me so that I didn't have to pass anything to you, which was great. And it's been a lot of, it's been a real wake up call of just how grateful and blessed I feel to be able to work at home and do what I love doing, which is the theme for today's show. One of my friends who's been connected to me and the Breakthrough Show for quite some time, Joe Nicassio, is here today. He is an amazing entrepreneur and he's going to be sharing about doing what you love, which we know brings us all kinds of joy. So, with that, let's get to our morning brew and I can tell you what's on tap for the show today. I hope you're yawning, stretching, doing your yoga, waking up. Let me know what's in your mug this morning. I've got my Care Bear mug again today. Everybody here with my little positive vibes Care Bear there. And I'm still drinking my tea. I'm being a good girl over here and getting this stuff to pass through the house. Let me know what you're drinking today. Miss Rhonda's here this morning. Good morning, Rhonda. All hail the Queen of Joy. That's right. She's she's here and ready for you this morning. Miss Danielle is here this morning. Speaking of mugs, she was the gifter of my positive vibes mug here. Good morning, Danielle. Good to see you. Let me know who's joining us this morning and what is bringing you joy today. On the show today, as I mentioned, Joe Nicassio is here. You're gonna love Joe. Once upon a time, I called him Gangsta Joe, and we might find out about that as well. So he's gonna be coming up on the show, and then after we hear from Joe, I've got a little social joy spotlight today. Speaking of entrepreneurs. And we'll be sharing with you about a friend of mine's business in our social joy spotlight today. Then we've got birthdays. We've had a lot of birthdays happening and people that are connected to the Breakthrough Show Network as well, and telling you what's on tap for the rest of the week. All of that being said, I want to talk about our incredible guest today. He is more than just a coach. He has so many years and I feel like volumes worth of experience in business in his being, and he's advised several thousands of business owners to improve their business, but also helps people to start their businesses as well. And he's really passionate about doing what you love, and we know that we love that here on the Breakthrough Show Network and on Project Joy Live, of course. So without further ado, let's get Joe Nicassio here on the screen. Gangsta Joe is here. Good morning.
Woo! Good morning, Jessica. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. And you listen, I was so worried about you coming on the show because I was like, is he still West Coast? Because that's going to be real early.
Well, I'm still a little bit of a digital nomad. I'm currently in near Arlington, Texas, and eventually migrating my way back to California.
Yeah, yeah. They got that California dream. And what is it about the California that you love so much, Joe?
Well, California has, number one, has perfect weather. I mean, it's when you live on the coast, especially, it's like 78 degrees every day, sunny, ocean breeze, fresh air. And it's warm, but it's always dry air for the most part. Good
Mm,
weather, good people. There's plenty of things to do. Yeah, I mean, it's just climactically, it's nice. You can. I remember days where I would be driving up to the mountains to play in the snow, and then later the same day driving out of the mountains to the ocean and
mm.
being at a beach party with friends California just kind of has it all.
Yeah. It does. It does. My I think we talked about this years ago now, but my aunt lives in Escondido and she is from out here in the East Coast, but she loved California and she ended up staying there. And so she's the only one in our whole family that lives in California, but she loves it. So that's awesome. Um, all right, so let's get into the potatoes of what we're talking about today, and that is doing what you love to do. I know how much joy leaning into doing what I love has brought to my life. And so talk to me about like had you always felt that way that you should always do what you love, or did it take you a minute to get to that space?
That's a good question. I think naturally as a kid, I loved playing with electronics, and that actually brought me a lot of joy, just playing with electronics and stuff. And I took all the high school electronic classes, and so I made a lot of money and had a lot of fun playing in technology. And I made millions of dollars, and then I lost everything, and it wasn't joyful. It was
Yeah.
pretty damn painful.
Yeah.
And so I started, in 1999. I made money, I lost money. I got mentored by Jay Abraham, who's really, the gangsta. Jay, my mentor's a gangsta. He's the $30 billion man, and I got to spend over 7 years learning from a true business and marketing genius.
Yeah.
And so in 1999, I made a declaration that I am no longer a technology person. I'm a, I'm a business consultant, a marketing consultant. So back then I was helping existing business owners who are making 3 or 5 or 700,000 a year go to 1 or 2 or 5 million a year. That was kind of my elevator speech. And I've served, thousands of people that were kind of in that category. But
Mm,
what happened is I started running into people that were in corporate, and I used to be in corporate, so I have like a lot of, empathy. But they're like, Joe, I don't make that kind of money, and I don't have my own business, and and I'd love to learn, but nobody's teaching the real stuff. And the truth is my job is stealing my soul. I mean, talk about a lack of joy. And I remember, I teach people to stop working for the man, be the man. Unless you're a woman, stop working for the boss, be the boss. But
mm,
so I had this revelation that, every day millions of people are driving reluctantly to a job that they don't want to go to, where there is no joy, there is no happiness. You got a boss that doesn't appreciate you, and he chews you out for simple things. And those people are praying, dear God, send me a mentor to help me start my own business so I never have to go back to this soul sucking job. And so what happened is I had this idea for something called employee escape plan.
mm,
And so the thing is we know a lot of people fail in business and struggle. And if I'm going to help you leave a job that you hate or dislike, number one, let's make sure that we create a business that you like, and number two, let's make sure it succeeds. So
mm,
I put together something that it's evolved over many iterations, but I've
mm.
created the employee escape plan, the business happiness blueprint. Now it's called the bulletproof business bliss blueprint. And the whole idea is let's get real intentional. Because look, if you're reluctantly driving to a job you don't want, here's what we want. Tell me if this vibes with the whole joy
Sure.
concept. You wake up every day saying, I love what I do. I'm good at what I do. I'm using my superpowers. I'm making an impact. I'm really transforming lives. And wow, I even make, good money doing it. So that's what I'm all about, is intentionally creating that as an alternative to that soul sucking job.
Yeah. I love that because I think you're so right. Like I think many of us watched our parents do that when we were growing up, like going to the grind every day and then coming home and complaining about work and all of that. And then we do that too because we think that that's what we grew up with. That's what we're supposed to do. And I think, do you feel like, I want to ask this, do you feel like that entrepreneurship is for everybody out there?
It's for everybody that wants it. Okay, that's the thing. It's not for everybody. Anybody could do it. The question is, should you do it? I really have kind of a weird belief that everybody is self-employed. If
Mm,
you have a business and you have 100 customers and you lose one, you're self-employed with 99. If you have a job, you're kind of self-employed, but you give all your power away to your employer. And even if you're unemployed, you're self-employed with no customers. And so, I think we've created a employer reliant culture instead of true self-reliance.
mm,
And I think that all of us need to strengthen those muscles to become a little more self-reliant. And so, uh, we all got skills and talents and abilities from God, but how do we employ those? And do we let somebody else choose how to, I'm going to say something here. It's like we were all taught to kind of go to school, get a job, and become somebody else's biatch.
mhm.
Okay. And that's bad programming. So I really believe that we need to kind of shift our whole thinking. I wrote a book about this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Just a little one, a little a little book. Um yeah, I mean I see it all the time even with in talking with people about homeschooling my kids. And it's this mindset of like, well, what are their grades and what college are they going to and what's their plan for what job they're going to get? Where are they going to apply? And I don't get a lot of people agreeing with how we kind of teach things around here, which is if you want a business, you can have a business. You don't have to be part of somebody else's business. But we get a lot of pushback on that.
Well, one of my friends is a guy named David Fagan. He wrote a book called Guerrilla Parenting, and, when his kids, first of all, he will not pay for their college. If they want to go to college, they have to raise their own money. And
Mm,
when the kids want money from mom and dad, they have to pitch them like they're going on Shark Tank. So
nice. I want to see this.
yeah, there's alternatives to the ways you can raise your kid. I think, we have a culture and we are tattooed in our cradles with the beliefs of our tribe. And if our
Mm,
tribe taught us to go to school, we just kind of pass that on. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, but your parents were bricklayers, we can't learn something from somebody who hasn't done it. And that's why I've been blessed to have so many mentors.
right. Right. Absolutely. And the other thing I want to ask you, so a lot of us, maybe we get to be in our 40s, 50s, and olders before we realize, hey, I don't want to work for somebody else. This is not the kind of life that I want. And by that time, maybe we're married. Maybe we've got one, two, three, six kids. Maybe we've got all these things that are responsibilities now. And we feel like I can't just up and leave my job. How am I gonna pay my bills? What do you kind of say to people like that? Is it possible to build something like on the side and then get moving, or what's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you have a neighbor that needs their lawn mowed and they'll pay you $50 to mow their lawn, you are now, I push their lawnmower, they pay me $50, now you have a side hustle. Um, eh, um, Look, the most important thing about starting a business is you got to be hungry. You got to
Mm,
have that fire in your belly that I want to do this. And if you're not hungry, there's only three things you need to achieve anything in life. I mean, sending a man to the moon. If you want to send to the man, there's only three things. Number one is you have to have the desire. Number two is you need a blueprint, a roadmap, a plan. And number three is you need to make sure you surround people that are going to support you in achieving, that goal. And if you have the desire and you have the plan and you execute on that plan, you can literally achieve anything. You said something though that was really interesting about, well, I got all these bills.
Mm.
Starting a business is independent from the bills that you've acquired.
Mm.
Okay. So if you go push that lawnmower, you're now $50 up, but I can't control the fact that you got, $4,000 worth of outflow each month. Here's a formula. If your outflow exceeds your income, then your upkeep becomes your downfall.
Mm. Ooh. Yes.
Okay. So, look, you need to be 100% responsible for, look, so if you go out and make that extra $50, it should help, but you need to control your expenses. Who's more successful, the person that makes 50K a year and they spend 48K, but they got 2K in savings, or the guy that makes 100K a year but spends 120K? I would say
Right.
that the 120K person is in more trouble. The other side of this is true too. So many people want that security of a paycheck. They would rather make 30,000 a year knowing every week I got a paycheck than make 300K a year with the inconsistency of kind of not knowing when the money's going to come in. So, can you live with ambiguity? If you can't live with ambiguity, you're not meant to be an entrepreneur.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there's this sort of idea that because we are hired by someone else, that there's some sort of security in that. And I mean,
Definitely.
that's misrepresented joy right there, because that's not true. It's just not. You could lose your job tomorrow.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've heard me tell this story, but I had a job and I lost this job. And let me tell you, I was selling Apple computers at a computer store. I was busting quota. I had customers that loved me. It was a fun job. And then one day I get a call in the manager's in vacation. I get a call that my dad had a heart attack, and and so I asked the assistant manager, "Can I go be with my dad?" He said, "No, we're shorthanded. You got to work out your shift." I
Mm.
worked out my shift till 7. It's like, okay, can I go now? Yes. So come back the following Monday, and the manager pulls me into the office. She goes, "Joe, where were you?" And I told her about my father and his heart attack. And she goes, "Well, after you left, some guys came into the store with ski masks and weapons, and they locked Gary in the back closet, and they took all the computers. And, like, it was terrible, but I had nothing to do with it." Anyway, a month goes by and she pulls me back into her office and says, "Joe, we have to terminate your employment." I'm like, "Why? Everybody loves me. I'm busting quota. I'm making good sales." And she
Mm.
said, "Remember that robbery?" I said, "Yeah, I had nothing to do with it." "Well, the insurance company won't pay the money unless we make somebody responsible. And we've chosen you to be, the scapegoat. And
Mm.
you broke a policy that 2 people need to be at the store at lockup, which they never taught me this policy." And so, and I went to, so, you know, the truth is, if you don't have an employment contract, they can fire you for any reason, you can get fired for the wrong reasons, right reasons, or the wrong reasons. And so that was one of those days that turned my life around, saying, never, ever, ever again am I going to put my career in someone else's hands.
Mm.
I'm gonna go be an entrepreneur. I'm gonna figure this thing out. And I had a few jobs in between to just kind of help me get on my feet to launch my business. But it's been many, I've been a business coach since 1999. And now I'm not just an entrepreneur. I really think of myself as an entrepreneur maker, because
Yeah.
for those people that hate their job, for those people that are so talented, but they're going to that soul-sucking job, it's like, let's get our heads, hire me, let's get our heads together, let's create that business, let's get that cash register ringing, so that you don't have to go back to that old paradigm of being somebody else's servant, and serve yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let me know if you guys are enjoying what Joe's talking about this morning here, because it really does tie into joy, being able to do what you love. Talk to me, Joe, about that sort of trifecta that you share, which is do what you love, share the love, receive the love. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. You know, if we're going to have a happiness centered business, it doesn't fall out of the sky. You know, if you want a dream business, it's not an entitlement. We need to be very intentional about creating it. So I have kind of this model. It's 9 parts, but you know, it's the 3 big parts are do what you love for yourself and others, share the love through your service and good marketing, so you can receive the love in the form of sales and cash and repeat business and referral business and testimonials, raving fans.
Mm.
So, you know, let's number one, I think the number one people fail in business or struggle in business or have a joyless business is they're not even in the right business in the first place. So
Mm.
the first step is choose a business that, like, you go, wow, I do love doing that and I could do that for the next 20 years. If it's really worth it to take the time to figure out where is the joy, where is the happiness, where is the bliss. Then once we do that, then we can start being very intentional about, and what do you stand for? Because your business can not only be a way to make money, it can be a place for spiritual expression. It can be a place to serve others. It can be a place where you can do a lot of good in the world.
Right.
And then we want to create an offer that we love. You know, you want to offer, you want to love offering it. They need to love buying it, and you need to love delivering on it. And so,
Mm.
again, very intentional. And then we need to share the love through number one. You know, nobody wants to hear another advertisement, but everybody likes a good once upon a time. And so
Mm.
we need to become good storytellers about our business. And it, you know, we can have a lot of fun telling stories. And then, you know, I could go through all 9. You know, we want to promote in a way that we enjoy.
Mm.
And then we want to, once people raise their hand and we generate leads, we want to nurture with joy those people.
Yeah.
And then we want to fill our calendar with people that are interested in working with us. And then we want to create a sales process that feels good, not all icky and slimy. And then finally, we, you know, we want to deliver the goodies. I asked a very successful man from South Africa, probably 35 years ago, you know, what's the secret to success? He said 3 words: deliver the goodies.
Mm.
And so if you enjoy your work, you know, and you enjoy delivering and serving people, you know, there's so much fruit that comes from that. And so it's you know, to take that long answer and shorten it up, it's all about intentionally saying, I'm going to build a business that has that happiness and that joy built into it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It does, it really does make a difference. And it took me a long time, I think, to go from, I think I always knew what I love to do, but how does that translate into an actual business? Like how does that actually, what does that look like? I think that's the biggest thing, because I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I love to do all the things." All the
Yeah, well,
things.
I have a proprietary. Yeah, I love, you know, skinny dipping at the ocean. Okay, well, nobody's going to pay you for that, you know. So I created a proprietary set of processes, and I call it asset sculpting and value sculpting. So, you know, we start looking: what are your assets? What are your skills? What are your talents? What are your abilities? What is your magic? You know, my mentor Jay Abraham said that even, you know, everybody has magic in them. Everybody has, you know, some skills. Everybody has value, but if you don't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means you lack the genuine curiosity to go on
Mm,
that path of discovery to find out what is other people's magic. So everybody has magic, but they're scattered with it. I love doing all these different things. So who's going to do better in the marketplace? You know, scattered Jessica or laser focused.
yeah.
So let's sculpt Jessica so that she delivers something very, you know, that really maximizes the assets of what you give. So
Right.
that's the asset sculpting part. And then the value sculpting part is like imagining, you know, having an out of body experience where you look at your business not through your eyeballs, but through the eyeballs of the marketplace, where people say, oh, that's valuable. I would pay money for that. And so we need to organize what it is we do. And then we need to have the empathy to to ask what would people actually pay for. And when we melt those two things together, we now have the basis for a business that has the joy and the happiness and the money.
Right, right. It's those. I think all of those things together are so important. Sharon said, "Joe, I've been an entrepreneur my entire work life. I love what I do, and there are many things I can learn from you to help me to move further in it, especially the plan. That's the we got to have a plan, guys. We got to have a plan. I'm enjoying so much what you were saying. Thank you, Joe. Good to see you this morning, Sharon. Sharon is the queen of gratitude, and she's always I tell her all the time, like, it's so cool what she does because she's been in sort of this fitness realm for a long time, but also has books about gratitude and the importance of it. And her combining those two things, like, you go to a fitness expo, you're not seeing stuff about gratitude, and so she really does have something different that she can get out there, Sharon. Get out there. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I love that. No, that, can you put that graphic back up, her text?
I can, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, the plan. Okay, so one of the questions you can take it down now. One of the questions that I ask people all the time is, if you're going to build a house, where do you start? Do you start with the roof? And a lot of people say no, you start with the foundation. No, you don't. You don't start with the foundation, because before you pour a foundation, you see this piece of property, you need to have a vision and you need a blueprint. You need the plan.
Mm.
And so employee escape plan really begins with, let's get real conscious. Let's create a great blueprint before every creation in this world, whether it's, just something as simple as a water bottle, before this existed in the physical world, it existed in someone's mind.
Mm.
Okay. And before, a lot of people, they just jump into business without a plan. And what we want to do is make sure, Jim Rohn said something. He said, even the poorest person can afford a superior plan.
Mm. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
so, if you create a great plan, then you create a great blueprint, and then you execute on it, then you can have a magnificent building or a magnificent business where there is joy and happiness and love and all
Yeah.
those good, yummy things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's great. And I know for myself, I didn't go into anything with a plan. I could because I didn't plan on having a business. That wasn't like, so I just wanted to share. I wanted to do all the yummy things and not think about the business part of it. And I think many of us have jumped into something, even if we're not just talking about business here, jumped into something without fully thinking it through or having that plan. And I just want to say, like, I don't think it's too late for you. It's never like too late to just pause and go, okay, how can I draw this out? How can I make this into an actual workable plan moving forward? So I appreciate what you're sharing here today,
Yeah,
Joe, for sure.
and giving is better than receiving, because giving starts the receiving process.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to receive the money, but we receive the money because we give the value. And if you don't think about, if you want to make a lot, if you want to receive a lot, you got to learn to give a lot, and you need to organize the way you give, and you need to give in the most powerful ways. And for me, my job is to show up as a massive contribution to the people I serve. When I pour it on with people and give so much and I don't hold back, they don't have a problem paying me. I will solve your problems and you will pay me gratefully and generously.
Right.
And if you're not grateful as a client, if you're not generous as a client, I'll go lay on the beach, and get that sunburn. That's more desirable to me than to give to somebody who doesn't want to give back.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest shortcuts, here's a real shortcut, in life and in business, is give to the givers, because
Mm,
givers are wired to give back.
I love that. I love that. Let everybody know, Joe, what's the best way they can connect with you? How can they connect with you, and also how can they work with you? Because that's important too.
Yeah, right under my name here on the screen, it's employeeescapeplan.com. If you go to that page, at the very bottom of the page is a calendar, and you can book an appointment with me. I say, let me buy you an hour of my time. The first call is on me, and I always give first, and if it makes sense, we'll create a plan that makes sense for you. Some people need a big program. Some people need a smaller program. I do have a little baby program for people. Like, I want to start a business, but I don't know what business to go into. I've created a program to kind of guide people. If you're running and you're running in the wrong direction, you don't need a motivator to say, run faster.
Right.
What you need is to stop and get guidance, and stop and get direction, and figure out your North Star. Because if you know where you're going, you're certainly going to get there. But far too many people have just kind of jumped into something, and they're running in a direction that later they're going to end up being unhappy because they chose the wrong plan. So let's stop and make sure you get the guidance. Let's stop and make sure you're on the right plan. Let's get out your entrepreneurial GPS and make sure you're moving in the right direction.
We all need that. Joe can be your personal Siri. Okay. That's what he can be for you. To help you find a direction. Joe, thank you so much for joining us on Project Joy this morning. I appreciate you bringing a little joy to our world of work. Because work is, I think that word is even triggering for some people. Work.
Oh, yeah, it is. Work is a 4-letter word. I teach people, if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. If you're going to build a business, you might as well enjoy it. There's, and for everything that must be done, there is an element of fun. Find it, snap, the job is done. I think I have fun. I love what I do, and I'm good at what I do. And, and that's what I pray for and hope for all of my clients, is like, life is too short to have a career that's stealing your soul. Life's too short to live that way. And, whoever taught you that that's the way to live, that you got bad information. Yeah. Let's have fun. Instead of saying, let's get to work, let's have fun making money. Let's serve and share and contribute. There's 3 reasons to be in business: money, meaning, and freedom. And the money, we all want the money and we all want the freedom, but it's doing meaningful work.
Absolutely.
When you serve other people, and, like, money success is kind of a me thing, but fulfillment is a we thing. I'm successful, I made money, but your life is better. And when you can go to sleep at night knowing I made other people's lives better today, not only do you get joy and then the money, but you get the fulfillment that there's something that it sits well within the soul.
Yeah. It helps me rest a lot easier at night knowing when I've helped people. And it's a when you wake up in the morning, when I started waking up in the morning and or almost not even being able to sleep because I was so excited about what was going to come the next day. Like, that was the moment for me, for sure. I appreciate you, Joe, so much. Thank you for sharing with us today, and glad to have you back anytime while you're still on Central Time and not back on the West Coast.
Well, thank you for thanking me. I appreciate being appreciated.
Of course. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Birthday Social Joy Spotlight and more. We'll be right back after this.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to experience explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Today is Wednesday, March 6, 2024. As you can see, we had a little costume change behind the scenes here, which brings us to our Social Joy Spotlight today. Here we go. So I want to give a huge thanks to Joe Nicassio today for being our very special guest on Project Joy Live, and bringing that vibe of entrepreneurship and really doing what you love. That is one of the most important things to me. It breaks my heart to see people that I love and that I'm close to in my life going to a job that they hate. And or even some of you, okay, who are entrepreneurs and also are not doing what you love, please go connect with Joe at employeeescapeplan.com. As we're talking about entrepreneurs today, I want to give a shout out to the Patch and Pin. The Patch and Pin. I've got their Instagram up here, but the owner of the Patch and Pin is a gentleman that I actually went to school with back in the day, like a long time ago. And he makes incredible apparel. You're seeing a hand painted shirt here on his Instagram, but also the hat that I am wearing was custom made for my husband. So I'm borrowing my husband's hat today. He's got snapbacks, he's got shirts, pins, and all kinds of stuff. So please go look for the Patch and Pin. And I just want to give a shout out to the owner of the Patch and Pin, Adam, who, like I said, I went to school with him, and I just want to say that I see you doing good work out there. It is hard sometimes to turn your life around, and I just want to give you so much love this morning. Such a big shout out, and tell you how much I see you doing your thing. So I would love for you guys to go follow the Patch and Pin on Instagram, and order a hat, a shirt, something like that, and support my friend Adam from back in school days. And I just wanted to give you some love this morning on this morning's Social Joy Spotlight. And that being said, it is time for birthdays. Here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating today. We have several birthdays. Michelangelo, who painted the Sistine Chapel, passed away in 1564. That was a long time ago. Has a birthday today. Harriet Tubman, absolutely an incredible force in the Underground Railroad and Civil War times. Harriet Tubman passed away in 1913. Happy birthday to her. Also, Shaquille O'Neal, 52 years old today. And David Gilmour, who was the guitarist for Pink Floyd, 78 years old today. So happy birthday, David Gilmour. Yesterday, there was a couple of fun birthdays. Matt Mays, who many of you guys know, connect with Scott Mason, who's been on the show several times. Matt is part of the Friendship Paradox, which I'm producing for later in the year to come out. And then also Tara Abram, who was one of our original panelists here on the Breakthrough Show Network, on the Breakthrough Show itself. Happy birthday, Tara. Today's birthday is Stephanie Dominguez, who I went to school with. Happy birthday, Stephanie. I wish I would have brought that picture to bring up of us when we were little. Also, Dawn Super has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Dawn. You're going to see her in 2 Fridays on the Breakthrough Show. She has an absolutely incredible story you're not going to want to miss. And then a couple of family members today. My cousin Ken Cook has a birthday today. My nephew Sheldon has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Sheldon. And then also one of Brittany's sons has a birthday today. And so happy birthday as well. All of that said, let's get our birthday song on. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michelangelo, Harriet Tubman, Shaquille O'Neal, David Gilmour, Matt Mays, Tara Abrams, Stephanie Dominguez, Dawn Super, Cousin Ken Cook, and Sheldon Bond. Happy birthday to you. happy birthday to all those that are celebrating today, yesterday, tomorrow, all that good stuff. I hope you are set up to have an amazing day. Let's figure out what's on the Breakthrough Show Network the rest of the week. Here we go. So coming up this afternoon, we have co-working this afternoon. This is my graphic has the wrong time, so I'm not going to pull it up right now. But co-working, virtual co-working happens today in our virtual community. Check-in is at 1:55 p.m. today, 1:55 p.m. Come and bring your work, your chores, your schoolwork, your to-do list, anything you have to do. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a student, any of those things, you're welcome to join us. Check in at 1:55. We start at 2 and go all the way until 4 p.m. Eastern time. You can go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club to get to join us for that, and I would love to have you there. Coming up on Friday, super fun, Miss Brittany's joining us on the show. Joy is your canvas, talking about joy and creativity and crafting and all that fun stuff, so be sure to join us 9 a.m. Eastern time. Then coming up at 1 p.m. Eastern time, Christy Mattoon, who is a Breakthrough Show alumni, she's rejoining us on the Breakthrough Show for a time for transformation. Since the last time she was on the show, she actually had a near-death experience that has transformed her life, and I'm super excited to talk to her about that whole experience. So don't miss that episode. Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We also have, of course, on Saturday, a Soul Saturday morning coffee every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Again, you can go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club and join us for free there within our virtual community. And then we have another episode of Spirit Sessions coming up at 12 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday as well. So don't miss that. I hope you guys are set up to have an amazing day. Huge, huge, huge thank you to Joe Nicassio, or as I love to call him, Gangsta Joe. And be sure you connect with him, guys. Like it's totally no pressure. You can go to connect with him and employeeescapeplan.com. His calendar is at the bottom of the page. Connect with him and just see if this entrepreneur life is for you, or if you already are an entrepreneur, how can you take that business to the next level? Joe is going to be the person to help you out with that. I absolutely trust Joe when it comes to business decisions. And so go have that free call with him. It's definitely it's going to bring some more joy to the work that you're doing in the world. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. I want to thank you so much for being here today. Again, thank you for all the good vibes as we've been through it in this household with the sickness the last few weeks. I just really appreciate you sending all the good vibes, the prayers, the healing, all of that. I appreciate you so much. I love you all so much today, and I will see you next time. I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. I'll see you Friday, guys. Bye.